Sarai was tired of waiting. God had promised her husband Abram descendants as numerous as the stars. But years had passed and Sarai was still childless. Taking matters into her own hands, she suggested a bold plan. Abram, she said, take my servant Hagar as a wife. Perhaps I can have a child through her. Abram agreed, and Hagar became pregnant. But with the pregnancy came tension. Hagar began to look down on Sarai, and Sarai felt the sting of her own decision. Frustrated, she confronted Abram. This is all your fault. Abram replied, she's your servant. Do what you think is best. Sarai's harsh treatment led Hagar to flee into the wilderness, but God met her there. An angel appeared and spoke words of comfort. Return to Sarai and submit to her, for I will bless your son. You will name him Ishmael, and he will become the father of a great nation. Hagar returned and Ishmael was born, yet the underlying tension in the household remained, a glimpse of the complicated path ahead. Years had passed and God reaffirmed his promise to Abram. This time he took it a step further. Abram, your name is now Abraham, meaning father of many nations, and Sarai, she will be Sarah, the mother of kings. Abraham, now 99 years old, struggled to believe. Will a son really come from Sarah? She's 90. But God was steadfast. You will name your son Isaac, and my covenant will continue through him. As for Ishmael, I have not forgotten him. I will bless him and make him a great nation. But the promise I gave you will come through Isaac. One day, as Abraham welcomed 3 visitors, they revealed stunning news. Sarah would have a son within the year. Sarah overheard and laughed quietly. At my age, impossible. But nothing is impossible with God. Sarah gave birth to Isaac, whose name means laughter, as a testament to God's miraculous provision. The joy didn't last long, though. Sarah saw Ishmael mocking Isaac and demanded that Hagar and her son be sent away. Abraham was torn, but God reassured him. Listen to Sarah. Through Isaac, your descendants will be named, as numerous as the stars. But I will also care for Ishmael. Hagar and Ishmael were sent into the wilderness, where God again intervened, providing for them and promising a future for Ishmael's descendants. Sodom, Gomorrah, and Lot's family. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah had descended into complete moral corruption. Their wickedness was so great that God decided to bring judgment. But before doing so, he revealed his plan to Abraham, who pleaded on behalf of the righteous. What if there are 50 righteous people? 40? What about 30? Even 10? God agreed to spare the cities for the sake of 10 righteous people, but even 10 could not be found. 2 angels arrived in Sodom and were welcomed by Lot, Abraham's nephew. Lot insisted they stayed in his home, but trouble was brewing. That evening, the men of the city surrounded Lot's house, demanding that he hand over the visitors. Lot, desperate to protect his guests, stepped outside and pleaded with the crowd. In a moment of shocking desperation, he even offered his daughters instead, a reflection of the warped morality in Sodom. The mob refused and the angels intervened, striking the men with blindness and warning Lot to flee with his family. Get out now, they urged. The Lord is about to destroy this city. Lot hesitated, but the angels took him, his wife, and his daughters by the hand and led them out. Flee for your lives and don't look back, they warned. As fire and brimstone rained down, Lot's wife disobeyed the command. She turned back, longing for the life she left behind, and became a pillar of salt, a halting reminder of the cost of disobedience. Lot and his daughters escaped to the cave in the mountains, but fear and isolation led to another troubling episode. Believing they were the last people on earth, Lot's daughters devised a plan to preserve their family line. On 2 separate nights, They got their father drunk and became pregnant by him. Their sons Moab and Ben-Ammi would become the ancestors of the Moabites and Ammonites, nations that would play significant roles in later biblical events. Now we have Isaac, Rebekah, and Jacob's deception. Isaac grew up and married Rebekah, a woman chosen by God to continue his promise. They had twins Esau and Jacob, whose rivalry began even in the womb. Esau, the eldest, was a hunter and his father's favorite. Jacob, quieter and shrewder, was loved by Rebekah. One day, a famished Esau sold his birthright to his brother Jacob for a bowl of stew, a decision he would deeply regret. Years later, Isaac prepared to bless Esau as the firstborn, but Rebekah and Jacob devised a plan to deceive the aging Isaac. Jacob disguised himself as Esau and received the blessing meant for his brother. When Esau discovered the betrayal, his anger burned hot. "I'll kill Jacob for this," he vowed. Jacob fled to his uncle Laban's household, leaving behind a fractured family. Now we make our way to Jacob's journey in marriages. On his journey, Jacob had a profound encounter with God. In a dream, he saw a ladder stretching to heaven, with angels descending and ascending. God stood above it and reaffirmed his promise. "I am with you. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and through them all nations will be blessed." Encouraged, Jacob pressed on and arrived at Laban's home. There he fell in love with Rachel, Laban's younger daughter. He agreed to work 7 years for her, but on the wedding night, Laban tricked him, giving him Leah, the elder daughter, instead. When Jacob confronted him, Laban shrugged. "In our culture, the older daughter must marry first. Work another 7 years and you can marry Rachel too." Jacob agreed and a tension between the sisters began. Leah bore children while Rachel remained childless, leading to jealousy and rivalry. Through struggles, heartache, and pain, Jacob's family grew, setting the stage for the 12 tribes of Israel. Whether you're a new believer or re-embracing your faith, these chapters reveal humanity's brokenness and God's unwavering faithfulness. Despite the mistakes, fears, and failures of the people like Abraham, Sarah, Lot, and Jacob, God's promise endured. For new believers, this is a reminder that God's grace isn't dependent on our perfection. His plans are bigger than our missteps, and He remains faithful even when we falter. Stay consistent in learning His Word, because each story uncovers more of God's character and His redemptive plan. Trust that your story too is a part of His divine design. Keep seeking Him and you'll find that even the messiest moments, He is working in your favor. In His glory, He's working for your good.